Okay. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's get this second unicameral session started. Since the clerk is not here today, we're gonna do a roll call. So I'm gonna go down the list. Senator Ross, you here?
Here.
All right. Senator Elsler,
Here.
Minister Elsler,
Here.
Vice Chairman Elsler, here. Right. Senator Davis and the chairwoman is not here today. They both couldn't make it, so we're gonna go ahead with the second unicameral session that we have almost unanimously scheduled for today. All right, so today we're gonna be talking about House Bill 6. Let me remind you all real quick. Remember, we have legislative procedures that you all must follow. You cannot speak unless you are given permission to speak. So when I give you permission to speak, then you speak, okay? So just remember that, all right? Because I know you have a lot of opinions on all the bills if you read them. So as of right now, we are working on House Bill 6. So, all right, House Bill 6. House Bill 6 will rename all temporary districts to counties instead. This is sponsored by Prime Minister Austin Elsler. This bill will do nothing but change the name of the temporary districts to counties instead. House Bill 6 and House Bill 7 basically co-op together. So basically all this one does is basically rename everything, and the reason for House Bill 6 is so in case our local governments under the temporary constitution have, or actually I should say just in case our local governments under the temporary constitution have representative districts for their local government. Yeah, their local government. This is the case they have those districts. We could tell apart from, basically a big district and then a little district. But the big district will be called counties instead, while the little ones will just be called districts. So we won't confuse the names and whatever. So that's basically all House Bill 6 is. And yes, they do have to be two separate bills because it is technically two different topics. Technically. So that's why it has to be in two separate bills. And yes, our Constitution says it cannot be, our bills have to be proposed in one topic. So that is House Bill 6, basically. So I'm going to go around and ask around to see if any questions. I'll start with Senator Ross first. Senator Ross, do you have an opinion on House Bill 6?
No, I think it's perfect.
Okay. Do you yield the floor?
Yep.
All right. Yeah. All right, Senator Ellsler, what's your opinion on House Bill 6?
Yay. Yeah.
I said opinion.
Oh. It's fine. I don't have any issues with it. It's good to go.
Minister Ellsler, what do you think of House Bill 6?
I think it's good. Just I do have one opinion about it.
All right.
I think that it's good, just we probably should wait on it until we get more people.
Think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're still pretty small, so
You're not wrong by both population and land. You're not wrong. But we did give ourselves, actually, give me 1 second. I was supposed to do something before I let you talk. Give me 1 second. All right, there we go. Anyway, so yeah, well, actually, no, hold on. I messed that up. All right. Okay, so is that it? Is that all that you have to say about it? Just wait on it?
that's all.
Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and answer that with my 10-minute timer. All right. So I believe that. I agree with that. But as of right now, this is just to rename it. This is all about renaming. It has nothing to do with population. It has nothing to do with our nation being fancy or anything. This is just to help with future title issues when it comes to just the word districts. So instead of having temporary districts, we'll have temporary counties, basically. So all it is just a name change, Minister Ellsler. It's all it is. So,
Okay.
but I'm happy to hear that opinion from you. So that's not, yeah, I agree with that, but it has nothing to do with any of the population issues or being fancy or anything like that. So, yeah, so everything's agree with that. All right, I will now pause the timer. All right, does anybody have any questions or concerns on House Bill 6? Anybody at all?
No.
All right, seeing none, we will do the voting roll call. The clerk's not here, obviously, so I'll be calling out the people to vote. So, on House Bill 6, Senator Ross,
Yeah.
Senator Ellsler,
Yay.
Minister Ellsler,
Yay.
Vice Chairman Ellsler, yay. Yays have it. It's unanimously passed with favorable expression. All right. Let's move with House Bill 7. Like I said, House Bill 6 and House Bill 7 go together. So, but for the sake of the meeting, we do have to read in House Bill 7, so we will easily pass right by it. So, House Bill 7, the preamble is House Bill 7 shall constitute the changing of every wording regarding electoral districts throughout the temporary constitution and currently passed bills to counties instead. Basically, obviously in our constitution and the bills that involve districts that we've already passed, all of the wordings will be changed to the word counties. That's all this bill is to just change the wording. Because if we manage to become bigger than we are and we end up actually having districts into temporary districts, then the naming will get confusing. So we definitely have to do a big rename, in my opinion. So yeah, according to my reasoning, same reasoning as House Bill 6, make it easier to use the word districts more when it comes to local governments and NICs. So any questions on House Bill 7?
No.
No.
All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and do a voting roll call. Senator Ross,
Yay.
Senator Ellsler,
Yay.
Minister Ellsler,
Yay.
Vice Chairman Ellsler, yay. The yeas have it. It's unanimously passed with favorable consent. All right. All right, we are moving on fastly to House Bill 8. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, House Bill 8. All right. All right, so this one's probably a little. It's actually not that complicated. This is actually help out with our legislative procedure. House Bill 8 is to amend more new procedures to the legislative process that was enacted by Unicameral bill. So what this would be called, ladies and gentlemen, is basically like an amendment to an already passed law. So obviously Unicameral Bill 4 is the one where we made legislative procedures for us. And basically this bill is just an amendment to it to make it even more better. So, Section 1 states creating a fifth section of Article 2 to give legislatures the right to say a motion in a second once called by the chairwoman or vice chairman to accept a proposed bill on the floor. Section 2 states creating a third section of Article 3 to give absent legislators the right to vote after the proposed bill has either passed or failed on the floor, and they will be given a 48-hour deadline to cast their vote before it is finalized. So, Section 2 gives our legislators a chance to vote in 2 days. And if they don't, then they don't. Then they'll stay on record forever. And they just can't vote on it anymore. Because, what's done is done. So, in Section 3, creating a sixth session in Article 2 to give the legislators the right to call, to remove, or amend to an article or sections of a proposed bill. So basically, this bill will be the creation of that motion. This will require a motion, a second, and a simple majority vote. When we're doing amendments to a bill that's already passed, we'll have to do a majority vote to pass an amendment, but someone has to propose an amendment first. So, obviously, my reasoning is just to help our current and future legislators in a very small populated nation out in future sessions. That's basically the whole thing for it. So, Senator Ross, do you have any questions about House Bill 8?
No.
Senator Ellsler, do you have any questions on House Bill 8?
No.
Minister Ellsler?
I do have an opinion on it, which, by the way, when I first read these, I kind of wrote down my opinions. So do you mind if I read what I wrote down?
Please, go for it. If it's easier for you, that's what I do.
So what I wrote down for House Bill 8, I have zero understanding of this, and I don't really have that much understanding of really anything at all. Though the reasoning seems just as for a small, or what am I trying to say here? It's a good start. That's the best way I can put it. I would increase the deadline to 3 days. To 3 days, though. 3-day deadline. That's about it.
Okay. So are you counter proposing that we should switch the 48-hour deadline to 24, 48? What is it? 72?
It's 48 hours.
2. So you want to change the deadline to 72 hours instead of 48 hours, which is 3 days?
Yeah, that's about it. Everything else seems just perfect.
Okay. Well, since this bill has not passed yet, and you're proposing an amendment, we could just go ahead and I'll just go ahead and make up how we're going to propose that amendment. So, Minister Ellsler has proposed a counter amendment, or not really a counter amendment, just another amendment, really, to change the deadline from 48 hours to 72 hours instead, giving a deadline for our legislators 3 days instead of 2. So, let's go ahead and do a vote on that amendment. So, let's go ahead and do the roll call on that. Actually, before that, Senator Ellsler, do you have an opinion on her amendment?
No, I'm fine with it.
Senator Ross, do you have an opinion on her amendment?
No.
Okay. All right. Now we'll do the voting roll call. All right. Senator Ross, your vote.
Yay.
Senator Ellsler.
Yay.
Minister Ellsler.
Yay.
Vice Chairman Ellsler. Yay. Yays have it. It's unanimously voted with favorable expression. The amendment has been passed. So now Section 2 of House Bill 8, instead of 48 hours, it will now be adjusted to 72 hours if the bill passes. So it will now have a 72-hour deadline instead of 48. All right. Okay, so I'm going to ask around again for House Bill 8. Senator Ross, do you have an opinion or questions or concerns about House Bill 8?
No.
Senator Ellsler.
No.
Minister Ellsler.
Nope.
All right, let's move the vote then. All right, let's move the vote to House Bill 8. All right, Senator Ross.
Yay.
Senator Ellsler.
Yay.
Minister Ellsler.
Yay.
Vice Chairman Ellsler, aye. Yeas have it. It's unanimously passed with favorable expression. So that will be our new legislative proceeding. But we'll do that after the meeting. So, all right, we are now moving to House Bill 9, if I can find it. Here we go. All right, now to the actual complicated bills. All right, I was really hoping the chairwoman will be here today with this one because I'm sure she has a lot of things about it. All right, House Bill 9. House Bill 9 is a bill to give the Unicameral the power to decide which local private bank within the 9 temporary districts to be our secured and manageable National Treasury building other than using a small lockbox filled with cash. Obviously, it's sponsored by the Prime Minister. Article 1 states the choosing of the bank. Section 1, the requirements for choosing such a bank will be as follows. It must be located and founded locally in one of the 9 districts. It is recommended to be close to our only federal building located in Southern Temporary District 2, basically the Night Palace or the Queen's Palace. That's the only federal building Nix owns. Article 2, the authority to decide how much money will be spent for the Treasury. Obviously, just like most Democratic, Republican legislative nations, the unicameral, by simple majority vote, can decide how much money to spend as long as it does not exceed the amount needed for whatever is paying for. Section 2, the Prime Minister can execute the plan by moving the Treasury money to pay for such service that is being paid for. Section 3, the unicameral should be limited to only 3 spending bills a year to ensure national debt does not hastily increase. And yes, even in our current status, we can have a debt. That does exist. Since we have a Treasury, a debt can exist. So, Section 4, the Treasury shall be under the jurisdiction of the executive branch, but can be regulated by the legislative branch. Section 5, only the monarch of the supremacy branch and the prime minister of the executive branch or anyone appointed to run the Treasury sect of the executive branch should be authorized to deposit, withdraw, and execute payments made by the legislative branch. So the legislative branch agrees to whatever contract it's doing and whatever payment it's doing, and the executive branch will be the one to execute the payment. Reasoning, because a simple lockbox filled with cash is not going to fly as a nation being taken seriously. Using a local bank will actually boost morale for small local business advocates. And most importantly, our treasury money, which comes from voluntary donations, will be more secure than they are right now. So, we're going to begin with Senator Ross on questions, concerns, or opinions on House Bill 9. Senator Ross?
I got none, actually.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to Senator Ellsler, since I know you're a businesswoman. What do you think about House Bill 9, Senator Ellsler?
That's fine.
Really? I won't lie to you, I was expecting more, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine. If you're okay with
Well,
it,
I read it. I mean, it seems legit. And plus, too, if it's in a bank, it'll gain interest. So just sitting there in a lockbox.
that's fair. See, like I said, I told y'all, like a businesswoman, she knows. Okay. All right, Minister Ellsler, how about you?
What I wrote down for this is that I said I would wait for everybody else's opinion on it first, since,
That's fine. It's why I came to you last.
yeah, appreciate it. I can't believe I wrote that down. It's hilarious. Anyways, in all seriousness, I think it's fine. I mean, if Senator Ellsler is okay with it, then, I guess I'll be fine with it as well.
Okay.
I'm in.
All right. In that case, no other question. I'm not seeing any questions or concerns about House Bill 9, so we're going to go ahead and call for a vote. Senator Ross.
Yay.
Senator Ellsler.
Yay.
Minister Ellsler.
Yay!
I vote aye. Yeas have it. It's unanimously passed with favorable expression. All right, we are now moving on to House Bill 10. All right. We are now on House Bill 10. Here's the preamble. House Bill 10 is a policy bill that applies that we should try to get in contact with Amish or Mennonite communities to help teach our population on how to build houses on their own so the government can spend less tax money. Obviously, what the Prime Minister meant by that is what we mean by spending less tax money, meaning people won't have to use the voluntary taxing contracts to have the government build houses for them. So they don't have to use the government that much. If they learn how to build their own houses, they don't need to use the government or really any private contractor, which is okay because I'm sure they'll find customers anyway. But the whole thing is voluntary. So Article 1, contact. Section 1, we should manage contact with the Amish or Mennonite communities to see if we can talk with them. That's basically simple. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we're all just going up there, talking to them, see what happens. Just to see what happens. Article 2, the purpose. Section 1, once contacted with an Amish or Mennonite community, we should request or offer them to start a private or charter Amish/Mennonite school where they will teach their ways to the what I labeled it as non-Amish, but that's basically it because the Amish are their own they're their own people, tribe, religion. They all got the goodies. They all got the good stuff. They are their own people, their own right, and that's how it really should be with most people, really. Section 2, the private schools can fund themselves, while the charter schools can request to be funded by the government, because that's how charter schools work. Where do I go? Oh yeah, or we will provide funds depending on the number of students of all ages. That's another plan for the future, because that has to be another bill, but it'll only work if this one passes. Section 3, well, the private schools will have their own rules, of course. The charter schools can be regulated to meet specific requirements and guidelines that the Unicameral sets up for them, which is normal. Reasoning, of course, my reasoning is people seriously need to learn how to fend for themselves in times of crisis, especially when it comes to building a shelter. So when we get an island, if it's this island that we're all going for, there will be bad weather, and I mean bad weather. That's subtropics. We're talking hurricanes, we're talking tornadoes, we're talking the actual big windstorms, okay? So in a crisis, if government can't do
Tornadoes on an island? Shoot.
No, you're right. Because there was a tornado on the island, because I actually have news source on that island, and there was a tornado warning and a tornado hit on that island before. So I am a somewhat of a witness of a tornado on the island. So, but anyway, so my other reason is basically having these schools. Having these schools will encourage citizens to build more for themselves than having companies and government build for them. Will this hurt contractor market? Sure, it'll hurt them a little bit, but it's not for everybody. I mean, who's going to go to an Amish and Mennonite school? Not a lot of people. But if they want to know how to build their own house, those people can teach them that, because that's what they do. That's their living, and they build it out of trees that they grow themselves. So. And people can even do that without the Amish or Mennonite school. But this is just an option that we can create for people to try out. This will definitely help when it comes to a homeless crisis, of course, where the communities themselves build houses for people who lost their homes from a crisis such as the weather or fire or flood. So, yeah, basically, I explained that basically this will also help the homeless crisis. If you're homeless, the government or company is too slow to rebuild your house or do anything with your property if you hired them to do something. Get the community to help you build one. Just like that. True, the Amish and Mennonites might push their way of life into the students, both young and old, because I want this to be like a college-based school, not necessarily like a K through 12 school. I want it to be an all of ages school, where young and old, whoever wants to go to that school, go to it. I want all of them to go to those schools. Obviously, the private ones, that's up to them. But, of course, the Amish Mennonites might push their way of life into students, both young and old, but after the years of being in that school are over, only the individual can decide how his or her life will go from there. So they can push their way of life onto the students all they want, but as soon as that school's over and they're graduated, they can decide whether to do the Amish way or not. So, and for charter schools of this nature, the Unicameral will decide how much money to spend to fund the school or school products. So we can basically help out the charter schools if the charter schools really need it. So that's basically House Bill 10. So let's go ahead and begin with opinions and such. So Senator Ross, what is your opinion on House Bill 10? Questions or concerns about it?
I mean, it's not a bad idea. Most of the time, people would rather just hire somebody else to build it.
You're not wrong.
Just building something in general is like taking two sticks and nailing them together.
Right.
But if you want it professionally done, that's a given. Because the Amish we're told they got to do everything on their own. So.
Well, I mean, that's actually their way of life, really. I mean, they always built on their own ever since they came to America. I mean, they've been around since... They've basically been around since the Mayflower. I mean, they were basically the Mayflower people, and when they saw, like, modern technology coming their way, it's like, nah, we'll live our way. So that's basically what happened.
No, because see, where I lived, when I lived in Ohio at the time, they followed more of at least in the area I was used to, they followed more in the eras of like right-wing tractors and tractor plow, anything that related around the first few years of the tractors. They normally they started using they used those.
I mean, were they gas or electric run machines, or were they actually run by horses?
Well, what I mean by tractors, I mean actual gas, diesel.
Okay, so those must. Okay, those must be Mennonites then, because Mennonites are the ones that actually use modern technology but follow the way of the Amish.
No, they truly used the old stuff. They didn't have any electricity or anything. They just used
No, yeah, regular Amish will do that.
There's a few of them that are still in existence that they got, but merged in tractors and everything.
Okay. All right. Well, I believe Senator Ellsler was gonna talk with you on that. You may speak, Senator Ellsler.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, yeah. I remember when there was an Amish house we were actually thinking about buying before we bought this house, and he had tractors and boats with motors, but like he said, they still used the horse and buggy, and they had no electricity. Everything was a wood stove and propane, I think, or some sort of gas. I'm not sure. I think it was propane, but I don't remember. They ran through the house for their lights and stuff. Now the Mennonites, like the ones that live next door to us where we are now, they drive cars. They don't do horse and buggy. They drive cars, and they just live the way, but have electric, have water, whole 9 yards. This one I wasn't real sure on which way to go because I don't know. To me, it seems too soon to throw this out, but then it's like, well, what's it going to hurt? I wouldn't put on there request the Amish. I don't even really know if I would make this into a law. I think I would.
Request is even the right word. I don't know if request was the right word either, or offer was the right word.
But I don't even think this is something I'd make into a law. I think this is just something we should have available, like in the library of the Queendom of Nick's library. So somebody, to where it's just something there to fall back on, or to give someone who may be interested in something like this to use in the future. But I don't know.
Okay. Well, obviously, this bill has nothing to do with, like, if this bill were to pass, the Prime Minister can't even make an executive order for it because there's nothing to enforce. There's nothing to enforce about it. So it's not necessarily a law. It's like a policy of what the government can do if they want to. So basically, this is because we have to do it in a legislative way. House Bill 10 basically is saying, hey, I propose that we, the Unicameral, should do this. And then if it passes, okay, we're doing it. But it's not a law or anything. You're right. It's really not a law because, especially if it passes, the Prime Minister can't use an executive order on it because there's nothing to enforce on it other than.
And it's sort of confusing with the way you put the things about charter schools in there with about some that's just supposed to be about people learning how to build on their own. But I agree with Senator Ross. If people are going to build on their own, then they'll do it on their own. Otherwise, they're just going to hire somebody to do it.
Okay. If that's the case, that's the case. I have no problem. Just a bill that I thought would be cool to have for the Queendom in our current situation. So, all right, Minister Ellsler, do you have anything?
This one just felt really risky. I don't know why. Just reading it felt risky because it has good intentions. But how it was worded and kind of put was the part that made it seem like it was taking a big leap.
Okay.
I honestly think that, yeah, I agree with both senators, but with the Amish and Mennonite community, I think it's best we just wait for them just to come join us on their own. Maybe not offer anything, just kind of be there until they decide to say, hey, we're here.
Okay. I can agree with that. All right.
But we just wait for it.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody? Questions, concerns? Nothing?
Nope.
Not hearing or seeing none? Let's move to vote. All right, Senator Ross, what's your vote on House Bill 10?
Nay.
Senator Ellsler?
Nay.
Minister Ellsler?
Nay.
Of course, as the sponsor of the bill, I vote aye. The nays have it. House Bill 10 does not pass. All right. We will now move on to House Bill 11. By the look of the time, it is not 9:30. 9:30 is our deadline. So I believe we can actually go up to at least House Bill 15. That's where we'll stop because
I'm like on the verge of my bladders. I think I'm going to cut off at 11. Sorry.
no, 9:30. 9:30 is our deadline, you two. 9:30. 9:30.
Well, I say
9:30 Eastern. 9:30 Eastern, Ross. 9:30 Eastern. So, yeah.
Hey, Austin. I'm sorry, Vice Chairman.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, I say after 11, we stop just because of work in the
Are you talking about House
morning.
Bill 11 or are you talking about 11 p.m.?
No, House Bill 11.
Okay.
Because of just work in the morning, and Minister Ellsler needs to be able to get up in the morning.
Okay. No, and Senator Ross. Okay, so I think that Senator Ross was saying the same thing. All right then. Okay, that's fine. That's what the chairwoman wanted us to do anyway. So I thought since we have plenty of time, I figured we could try to get as much done as possible before that deadline. But that's okay. Everyone's agreeing with that. Obviously, the chairwoman
We don't have the young energy of Vice Chairman.
Thanks. Yeah, who doesn't? All right. Well, in that case, let's move on to House Bill 11, our final bill of the session, and then after that, let's go ahead and schedule the second part of our session because we have these bills are supposed to be done in this second session. So obviously, this is part one, and then the next scheduled session will be part two because this should be done.
The Vice Chairman needs to write fewer bills between.
Can we get it almost Saturday around roughly the same time? I've already had stuff planned for the rest of the week.
Right. Yeah. So we're going to go with House Bill 11. Everyone chill out for a minute or I'll use the gavel. We're going to go with House Bill 11. Then when we're done with that, we reschedule the next meeting for part two of the second session so we can get all the other bills done. And this will also give our other legislatures a chance to try to meet up with us. And then when that's done, then we can go back to our scheduled meetings. And we can reschedule it to our next scheduled meeting. That's fine if y'all want to. But I'm just saying we schedule it another day other than a Saturday. So, because obviously we all have winter plans that we all made, so which is fine. That's understandable. But I know this: when next year starts and whatever, when spring gets here, we are going to be busy. Not with bills, but if there are bills, we'll definitely be ready for them. But when it's springtime, be ready because we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. All right, so we're off that topic now. So let's get back to topic. We're on House Bill 11 now. Sponsored by the Prime Minister, of course. House Bill 11 is a bill to give the Unicameral the authority to pay off every citizen's individual debt. This is a very complex, complicated one. I won't lie to you. This one, when I was even writing it, I was already imagining the outcry I was going to get from writing this bill. So Article 1, the authority. Section 1, the unicameral puts up a list in numerical order regarding the total debt of the individual. Basically what that means, like, for example, if Senator Ellsler, you're $1,000 in debt, and Minister Ellsler, she's only $700 in debt. Obviously, we will do Minister Ellsler first, or no. Yeah, we would. Yeah, we would do Minister Ellsler first because she has the less amount of money to pay off. So, Section 2, the unicameral must pass a spending bill regarding paying off all current debt. So yes, paying off even one or a certain amount of number or certain number or all of them at once has to be considered a spending bill. And I don't know if it was in this bill or not. No, I think it was in one of the previous bills that we passed already, where we have to do 3 spending bills, I think. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I'll figure it out later. Anyway, Section 3, the Prime Minister or any executive branch in charge of this role shall execute the payments to be paid by the exact amount that is said on the bill, and it cannot exceed over the amount said on the bill. The bill via spending bill. It also cannot be lower than the amount that is set on the bill, because why would you underpay a huge amount of money? Article 2, the payment. Section 1, the money to pay out the citizens' individual debt will come from the National Treasury, obviously. Article 3, organization. Section 1, the list of citizens currently in debt will be numbered from lowest amount of debt to the highest amount of debt. So, yeah, as I made an example earlier. Section 2, the unicameral prepares the list of current citizens who have voluntarily accepted government pay. This is an option for citizens to use to get their debts paid off. If they're so deep in debt, they want to use the tax money that people donated to us, that we did not steal from, that people donated to us. We can use the money to pay off their debt if they request it. We're not going to offer it to them. They got to request it. They request it, then we'll give it to them. If not, then not. See, where was I? Voluntary accept. Yep. Section 3. The unicameral has the authority to decide to either pay off all the individual debts at once, or can decide to pay one individual debt at a time, but the money must be paid all at once, not little by little. Yes, all the money has to be paid all at once, not little by little. It has to be all amounts. So if we have to save up to reach that amount that we have to help the citizen pay off, then so be it. That's what we do. Let's see. Once an individual debt has been entirely paid off, so once we pay off the debt, that individual can no longer request government debt pay for 10 years. Why 10 years? And yes, that is not an exaggeration or anything. I actually got this idea from someone else. Why 10 years? Well, 10 years is a long time. 10 years should be enough time for your debt is now paid off. Now go try to make your life better with that financial stability now. So, yeah, 10 years should be long enough for anybody to try to get back on their feet. And if they don't get back on their feet from all that time we spend together to help get them out of financial trouble, then that's their fault. That's their problem. That's their life. They want to make themselves in trouble like that, then that's their fault. Article 4, stopping fraudulent requests, because I can already see it. I can already see people just walking into our government building, wherever it is, and just asking for government debt pay because they don't want to pay it themselves. I already know. I meant to restart that. Apologies. So, Section 1. If an individual requests a government debt pay, they are required to be brought to the unicameral floor. So yes, they will be brought here in this video call meeting with us. To explain the reason for the debts and to show us all the evidence of their debts. Section 2, the individual has to take the oath of truth before speaking on the floor. Individual is found lying about his or her debts. They will lose their right to request for government debt pay for 10 years. So basically, it's like getting government debt pay, but without any money. And now you gotta wait for 10 years because you just lost your right. You lied to us. Now you don't get it. Now you don't get it. Now you have to wait 10 years to get it. Whoops. Section 3. Before the individual takes the oath, the individual must sign the terms of agreement policy. I have not made that yet. To accept that if found fraudulent and untruthful, the unicameral has the authority by law to punish the individual in accordance to the terms of policy. Since I have not written down terms of policy yet, I was actually hoping to pass this bill first before I even make it, because that's the logical sense into it. So, yeah. Section 4. If the evidence provided to the unicameral is proven fraudulent while the individual is under oath, the individual shall pay a $200 fine. How will that work? Well, if I understand the U.S. Constitution that we're currently under as of right now, outside of our property borders, if we made a legitimate contract with somebody, we can bring that to court and then charge that individual for whatever the punishment that is said on the terms of policy. So all we have to do really is just bring the court on it. That's all we can really do. We show, obviously, the enforcers, the signature, the writing, the terms of policy, bring it up to court. Court will oversee it and whatever. Then that's basically it. And obviously, this is not a too harsh punishment either. We're not going to throw you in jail because you did, even though fraud is definitely bad. But this isn't like a counterfeit fraud. This is basically in trouble for lying to us and try to basically waste our time and our future payments, because yes, we will get paid in the future for doing these kinds of roles. So it just hasn't gotten that far yet. So yes, $200 fine. That's literally the max. I don't even want to go higher than that. The reasoning. This is not a move to become a welfare state. I promise you that. This is not a move to become a welfare state. I promise. This is to basically publicly present the irresponsible individuals of the financial mistakes they made. Personally, I made a promise to a citizen of Nix years ago that we will never become a welfare state. So I believe this is the way to help people get back on their feet to fight for 10 years. If in those 10 years their lives are the same as 10 years ago, then they have chosen that life. If not, then they have succeeded in fighting the financial challenges they were facing. The government should not be helping everyone, because not everyone wants government to help at all, especially when they never asked for it. It has to be consensual. We should only help those who have proof that they are struggling in deep debt that they cannot get over as long as they ask for our help. Not everyone will want the government's help, but if they request us, then we will help them. But we will always ensure that both the unicameral and the people themselves, with the power of Unicameral Bill 3 that was passed, will regulate and oversee the processes of this motive. Obviously, that is the citizens' initiative right, or act, yeah. Basically what that means is, when we do this kind of thing, or when we do spending bills and whatever, the people will have to get involved, because we're spending the money they donated. So obviously, they have to know where that money's going. That's called transparency, so that's definite. 10 years is a very long time. By then, the individual should no longer be in deep debt at all, by the time the 10 years limits are up. So that's basically it. Those are all my reasoning. So that's endgame. So let's start with Senator Ross. Senator Ross, what do you think, or do you have any questions or concerns about House Bill 11?
Yeah, that could go south really quick.
Oh, I know. I like I said, I'm already expecting it.
Let's not even remotely bring that up anymore. In the U.S., people do this almost like stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Well, I guarantee, yeah.
People mad.
Yeah. I mean, are there any specific sections or articles that you think should be removed or amended, or do you want to add something to it, or maybe, or you believe you just want to scratch the whole thing?
It's all about it.
Okay. Senator Elsler, what about you? Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I appreciate the idea. Yeah, I'd be the first to jump in line, being $500,000 in debt. Um, so, but yeah, no, the whole concept is great, but unfortunately, the concept of society is not. So the two won't mesh because for those of us who are trying to do what's best to help others, there are too many assholes in the world who will turn it around to make it about something it's not supposed to be about. Period. Um, so my opinion would be is this one just needs to go away. I agree with Senator Ross. It just needs to sort of go away, disappear, hide in a box in a warehouse somewhere, and um, when the day that we and the day when um, yeah the we can all sing "We Are the World" again without somebody throwing a fit saying that they got a longer lyric than I did, then yeah, it just needs to be put on a back burner.
Okay. Minister Elsler.
I agree with the rest of them. This is a very, very risky one. I don't think it. I don't like it. Honestly, not only that, but it's kind of complicated. It's actually not kind of complicated. It is very complicated. Like, even trying to listen to understand it, I zoned out in the middle of it. That kind of complicated.
Okay. All right. Well, this whole thing went south immediately. I've already expected that as much. Which is fine. Which is absolutely fine. I have no problem with it. I thought this would be a good shot idea. So, all right. Seeing no questions or concerns on the floor or in the video or on the phone, we'll move ahead to the vote on the final bill of the day, and then we call to reschedule the meeting to whenever. All right. I can already see it. It's like I should just go ahead and just bang the gavel and be done with it. But no. All right. Gotta do this legit. All right. Senator Ross, your vote.
Nay.
Senator Elsler.
Nay, no, nada.
Minister Elsler.
9! Nay.
Obviously, as a sponsor of the bill, I vote aye, but the nays have it. 3-1. House Bill 11 does not pass. All right. That is all the House bills that we are going to do today. Wording. So now what we're going to do is that we are now going to reschedule the meeting, or just go ahead and wait till the next constituted meeting. So, obviously, our next constituted meeting, since we were supposed to have the one this Saturday, right? Yes, we were supposed to have the one this Saturday. Our next constituted meeting will be on the 18th. The 18th is our next constituted unicameral session.
Hold on.
And I know what's on the 18th, so that might not occur either. So,
Yeah.
we'll probably have to do a break on that one as well.
I know you want to get a lot of this done, not to interrupt, Vice Chairman, but maybe with Christmas and stuff coming up and family weekend things coming up, do you think it would be okay to postpone it till after the first of the year?
I mean, yeah, I can see it because, believe it or not, my calendar says that.
First of the year?
Sorry, Ross?
Did you say the first of the year?
Yeah, she said basically postpone every meeting until January 1st, basically.
That's my birthday, and I'm definitely wouldn't be shut up.
You're a New Year's baby? Man, okay.
Well, it doesn't have to be on the first, but I mean,
Well, it doesn't have,
sometimes,
no. It's not going to be on the first, Senator Ross. She just
yeah,
wants to postpone our meetings
until after the first year.
until after the new year. So, like, basically, she's basically saying,
I'm not complying with that.
yeah, she's basically saying cancel all of the December meetings and just do the ones in January. Obviously, what is it? New Year's Day is on a Saturday. Well, is that a unicameral day? I would laugh if it is. It is. Okay, obviously, we will not do it on January 1st because everyone will be too drunk for that.
Right. So we'll just start January 8th.
So January 15th. January 15th.
Don't blame me.
Yeah. Yeah. January 15th is, if we propose that, or, yeah, if we voted on that, that will be our next constituted date. But anyway, as I was trying to say, according to my calendar, it says we should be on, our scheduled winter break has actually started today, actually. So I guess I'll talk to the Queen about that tomorrow to see if she wants to continue it, because that's actually a executive and supremacy thing. So if she agrees to the next government winter break, which does end on, it ends on January 19th, but we can decide when winter break will end. It doesn't actually have to be that long. But yeah, the next government winter break was supposed to start today, but I don't know. We haven't been on actual winter break for a while, so I'll talk to the Queen about it tomorrow or Friday or whatever about it. Okay, well, Senator Ellsler was the one that made the first move to propose to postpone all December meetings, which I believe is only one, I think. After this one, it'll be one more. So, but it's on a bad day. So basically, her proposal is skip all of December and just start the part 2 session on January 15th, which would be our next constituted meeting. So, all right, let's cast a vote on that. Senator Ross, do you agree with Senator Ellsler about postponing all the meetings in December and just have our next one on January 15th?
That's fine. May 18th is fine.
Okay. I said January 15th.
Oh, 15th. I was about to say May 15th, but that doesn't
No, not May. January. Man, we ain't gonna go on that long of a break. There'd be no point. But yeah, January 15th. So what's your vote?
Yeah.
Minister Ellsler.
Yay!
Senator Ellsler.
Yay!
Vice Chairman Ellsler. Yay. Okay. I was gonna lose anyway, so I might as well go yay. All right. We have all decided unanimously on the floor to postpone all unicameral sessions until January 15th of year 2022, and that's when we'll begin our second session of the second unicameral session of 2021. Actually, no, that is a lie. All the bills actually will start over after New Year. So, by law, that will actually be the third unicameral session, and it'll be, actually, no, not third, my apologies, I'm screwing up. That'll be our first unicameral session, again, but this time in the year 2022, and all the House bills submitted that were not legislated yet will be restarted over to like lower numbers, like 1, 2, 3, and 4, whatever. So that's basically how it will work. So this is our last meeting of the year, guys. Good job. Proud of y'all. Woo!
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, we managed to do 2 meetings this year. I'm glad. Even though we kind of just started it in what? November? Yeah, November. Or October. It's either October or November, one or the other.
I don't know. You're thinking too much. You're making me tired.
be honest.
All right, so anyway, the ayes have it with favorable unanimously passed favorable expression. We will have our next meeting on January 15th of the year 2022. And now,